Good morning. I'm Debra and I teach chemistry and physics at Bologna High School. This past summer, I had the opportunity to participate with Strive at Ridout Lumber Company and Design Center in Conway. During my weeks there, I was able to shadow employees in all different parts of the company, and I was able to go out on job sites to help measure for materials and meet with construction managers and crews at these sites. The area of the company that most captured my attention and I chose to develop my lesson plan around was working with a former builder. His job now is to read and run the blueprints in order to determine what and how much material would be needed to complete the build. He taught me how to read blueprints, determine what type of special beams may be needed for different building applications, and how to run a blueprint for materials and cost. I decided this would be a great project to add into my physics curriculum. I added the Strive lesson into my unit on exploring forces. The lesson included students drawing free body diagrams with interacting forces and determining the type of force and strength of these forces. This led directly into looking at forces within buildings. The students were tasked with measuring 3 rooms of their house, creating blueprints for those rooms, and then determining the type and amount of materials and the cost that would be associated in building these rooms. From there, they built models of their ceiling structure for their largest room. They were then able to test the strength of their ceiling structure using materials force sensor that I was able to purchase through the Strive program. There have been several places where my experience with Strive has had a direct impact on student learning. Beginning with the forces unit in my physics classes, the students were given the same assessment before and after the unit. Students were assessed on their ability to identify balanced and unbalanced forces, as well as draw free body diagrams with interacting forces. The pre-assessment showed that only 27% of students were proficient with these standards, while the same post-assessment showed 95% proficient. Also, at the beginning of this unit, students were introduced to all the different careers that I saw during my time at Ridout. Each student chose one of the different careers and researched information about the career, including the STEM skills that were used. The students then presented their information to their classmates as we went through the building and design part of the unit. The main impact that Strive has had on student learning in my teaching comes from students becoming more responsible for their own learning. This came from my interactions and asking questions of all different people that I met during my experience. So many of the people I met told me the same thing, that they can teach anybody how to do the jobs that they need them to do, but they can't teach them work ethic or willingness to learn. This has caused me to implement some changes in the way that I have students work on project-based learning and argument-driven inquiry activities in my classes. I've also added additional types of these activities in my lessons as well. During these activities, students are often tasked with completing the activity on their own now and meeting deadlines during different parts of the process. When working in groups, each student is assigned a specific role that they must complete in order for the group to be able to complete the task. These roles can include materials collector, cleanup technician, measurement maker, number cruncher, data collector, instruction director. Each person has to complete their task in order for the group to have everything that they need to complete the activity. This has really helped to instill in the students the importance of doing their part in a group project. When students don't know exactly how to do their part, this allows them to become responsible for learning how to do it in order to complete their role. Students are assigned different roles for different activities in order that they don't get comfortable with their role, but they have to learn them all. This has shown to be really beneficial in that one person isn't doing all the work for the group, but that everyone has to take a part. I really enjoyed my time at Rideout, and it was well worth giving up some of my summer break. I highly recommend that if you have the time and are thinking about doing it, that you do it. You and your students won't regret your decision. Thank you.